Hmm. Is it recording? Yeah, it is. Thank you. All right. So hello and good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Ahmad Faiz bin Rahmat, and my metric number is 194340. So today I'm gonna do a micro teaching for LHE3256 Literature and English Teaching Method, and I'll be teaching five senses and imagery. So everyone will be my Form 4 students of upper intermediate proficiency level. And yeah, let's begin. All right. So hello and good afternoon, class.
Good
Good
afternoon,
Good
teacher.
afternoon,
afternoon.
teacher.
Hey, is everyone doing okay?
So far, so good.
Yes.
So far, so good.
Hungry.
Hungry. It's okay. I know it's been very cool right now, right? It's been very cool these days.
It's winter.
Yes, it's
Yes.
Yeah,
winter.
it's finally winter in Malaysia. Woo! So if you must, you can go and get your blankets or your sweaters on, and you can have your warm drinks with you as well. But yeah, so in today's class, we are gonna start with recapping what did we do last week. All right. So anyone remembers what did we do last week?
Hansel and
Hansel and Gretel.
Gretel.
Senses and imagery.
Yes, Hansel and Gretel. Thank you. Wow.
Hansel. Yay.
All right. Okay. So which aspect of Hansel and Gretel did we focus on?
Setting.
Setting.
Setting. Right. Yes.
Setting.
Setting.
Yes.
Setting.
Yes. Thank you. Setting of place to be specific. All right. Good job, everyone. So can anyone name me the three settings of place in Hansel and Gretel?
Teacher.
Yes. Nurafiza.
Cottage.
Me
Uh,
Cottage.
first, me first.
Forest.
okay, Nurafiza. Your answer.
Yes. Hello everyone, pay attention to me. Okay. The first setting is cottage, teacher.
All right. Thank you, Nurafiza. Yes, I think I heard Faizatun wanted to say the answer just now.
Forest.
Forest. Yes, cottage, forest,
Yeah.
and the last one is thank you,
Me,
Faizatun.
me,
Me.
me, me,
Witch
me, me,
house.
me, me.
Yes, yes,
House.
yes.
Which house? Which house?
Witch's house. Thank you, Megan and Huimin. Yes, the witch's house. All right, so let's take a look at the witch's house. Anyone remembers what does the witch's house look like?
Gingerbread house.
Gingerbread
Gingerbread
house.
house.
Okay, so how do you know,
Gingerbread
Megan?
house.
Because we read the story.
Yes, you read the story. So in the story,
And
in the text, there are the
details
The,
of
the,
description. This
the
details in the
description.
description of
yeah.
the text, teacher.
Yes, there are the details of the description in the text, right? So in the description, there are details that tells you how the witch's house look like what is it made up of, like what is on the roof, there's icing and stuff like that.
That
So
makes me more hungry.
yes, that is
Yes.
my point right now. All right, so now in today's class, we're gonna look at those details because those details are actually called imagery. All right, so today we're gonna look at our five senses and how we can use them to identify our imagery, right? But before that, mm, I hope you are familiar with your five senses.
Yes, teacher.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
yes,
Eyes. Smell.
yes, yes,
Taste.
yes,
Touch.
exactly.
Listening.
Yes, thank you, Damya. Oh my God, you guys are so smart. Okay, so in total, we have five sensory organs that we can use to stimulate our five senses. So the first one is our eyes. The second one is our ear, then our nose, our tongue, and our hand or fingers, right? So obviously, we know we use our eyes to see, we use our ear to hear or listen, then our nose to smell, our tongue to taste, and our hand to touch, right? But the question is, how are we supposed to use these five senses when the object or situation are not in front of us, are not physically in front of us? Like, let's take reading the text, for example, right? Like just now, someone mentioned that the witch's house looked a lot like a gingerbread house. And then they mentioned that, oh, I know it through the description of the text, right? So in the description of the text, there are details that tells you how something is looking like, or what does the sound is sounding like? Or how does it smell of something, right? And that in literature, we call that as imagery. So, imagery is the author's use of language that appeals to the five senses in order to help readers imagine what is being described. Or basically, imagery is just a description that helps you to imagine. It paints an image into your mind on what is being described. Right. So, in total, there are five types of imagery. So for the first one is visual imagery, which stimulates a sense of sight. Then we have the auditory imagery, which stimulates a sense of hearing. Then our olfactory imagery, which stimulates a sense of smell. Then for gustatory, it stimulates a sense of taste. And then the last one is tactile, where it stimulates a sense of touch. Yes. So I'm just gonna use the example that we read from the text, which was from Hansel and Gretel. For the first example is visual imagery. The roof was coated with white and pink icing. So in this description, we know that the author is telling us that the roof was coated with icing. Yes, but then it adds a detail into the description with white and pink icing to sort of like let you imagine how the roof is looking like exactly. So with these details, you will have this sort of like an visual imagination that you will create yourself in your mind, and that will add the experience to your reading, perhaps. Right. For the second one is auditory imagery. Gretel shut the door and the old woman began to howl frightfully. So anyone knows what a howling sounds like?
Oh,
Ow!
oh,
Ururang, ururang.
Yes,
oh, oh.
exactly. Okay, Damia, thank you. Yes, so with the details of the description, which is frightfully, the author is letting your imagination wander on how like, oh, how frightening it sounds, like the ow, right, and everything. So it stimulates the sense of hearing into thinking that, oh, okay, now I can know how does the sounds like. Then for the third one is olfactory imagery. The example is suddenly their noses were filled with an oddly sweet aroma of fresh baked bread. All right, so the author can actually just stop at sweet aroma, but that they further accentuate like what kind of aroma, what kind of sweetness aroma it was. It was of fresh baked bread. So now you can imagine like, oh, it was not any other kind of aroma. It's actually it's actually a smell of freshly baked bread. So this will add to the experience of your reading, perhaps. And then for the next two imageries, which are gustatory and tactile, the same concept applies to these two imageries as well. For gustatory, she had never tasted anything so sweet. And then for tactile, the pebbles were scattered on the rocky road one at a time. So now we know that the author is telling you, the kind of taste it was, that the Gretel was tasting, which was sweet. And also the rocky road, the texture of the road that Hansel was walking on, which was rocky and very unstable and stuff like that. All right, so enough of me talking. We're gonna do some activity now. All right, so I hope your internet is kind of stable, your connection, because I'm gonna ask you to use Google Slides for this activity. But before that, mm, I'm gonna read the situation for you. All right, so the situation is like this. So you just have to relax, yeah? Just relax, sit back and relax. I'm gonna read you the situation. All right. You were sleeping soundly in your bed when all of a sudden your nose caught a scent incredibly sweet. The scent woke you up and you realize that you are now standing in front of a house. The house appears well lit and deliciously decorated with various sweets and breads. In front of the house is a small pool of milk surrounded by crumbs of cookies. From a distance, you can hear a soft jingle coming from the house. Jingle bell. Okay. Salivating, you make your way across the muddy and chocolatey ground straight to the house. Peeking through the window, you see a table full of sweetness, joy, and variety of pastries. Could I possibly take one of those to quench the bitterness of this drool? You thought to yourself. So, what I want you to do with this situation is that I want you to illustrate a graphic organizer on Google Slides. And what I want you to put in the Google slide is I want you to classify the imagery according to the type. So for example, you can do like table charts. And then you can put like, okay, for example, this table is for visual imagery. And then you have to put the examples in the situation. And then the same goes with the other imageries. Okay. So I'm giving you 5 to 8 minutes to for you to complete your slides. So you can do it now. All right. Also, I've
Okay,
given
teacher.
yes, thank you. All right, so I've given the situation in your WhatsApp group. So if you find it hard to, read it from here, you can refer to your WhatsApp. Yeah.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, you have 1 more minute.
Teacher,
Yes.
do we need to draw the uh our body parts in the graphic organizer?
Oh, I mean, if you do have time for that, then yes, you can actually. No, you can
Okay,
be as
teacher.
creative as you want. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, your time is up. So can we have a volunteer? Maybe you can share your Google slide with me as well on the screen here. Wait, I'll stop sharing. Okay. Right, so can we have a volunteer?
May I volunteer?
Yes, Damia, you can. Of
Okay.
course.
So
Can you
can
share?
I start sharing? Oh yeah, I can
Yeah,
start
yeah, yeah.
sharing.
I've
Okay.
enabled
Uh,
multiple sharing. Yeah.
okay. I
Oh,
forgot.
oh, 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 oh.
I forgot to share first. Haha, sorry. Okay.
It's
Here
okay.
you go. So this is it.
Uh-huh.
From the one that you have given us just now, the
Mhm,
situations. So
mhm,
for visual, the
mhm,
house appears well lit and deliciously decorated with various sweets and breads. I'm sorry. And then in front of the house is a small pool of milk surrounded by crumbs of cookies, which is very delicious. And for the auditory, from a distance, you can hear a soft jingle coming from the house, which attract as to be inside the house,
mhm,
and olfactory, the sense of smell. You were sleeping soundly in your bed. Suddenly, all of a sudden, your nose caught a scent incredibly sweet.
mhm.
And for gustatory, which is our taste, could I possibly take one of those to quench the bitterness of this drool? You thought to yourself. And for the last one, which is tactile, our sense of touch, saliva. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Salivating, you make your way across the muddy and chocolatey ground straight to the house.
Yes, thank you so much, Damia, for sharing. I can see that you have been drawing some of the sensory organs as well. So that is very
Yeah.
cute. That's very creative. Yeah. But I think you missed one visual imagery, which was the peeking through the window. I can see a table full of sweetness, joy, and pastries, or something like that. Yeah. But it's okay. I
Ah,
appreciate your effort. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
thank
sharing.
you.
For sharing. Yeah. So
Eh, eh,
can we have another one? Maybe just a quick one. Yeah.
Hey, teacher, can I
Yes.
volunteer?
Yes, Afifa, you can.
Okay. Mm, So can you
Oh,
guys see my screen?
yes. Oh, so cute.
Okay. So all right. So the first imagery for visual. Okay. There are
Uh,
three stuff that I found. So the first one is the house appears well lit and deliciously decorated with various sweets and bread.
yeah.
And the second one is in front of the house is a small pool of milk surrounded by crumbs of cookies.
Yep.
And for the third one is peeking through the window, you see a table full of sweetness, joy, and variety of pastries.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. All right.
And for auditory, okay.
All right. I think the answer is similar to the previous graphic organizer, right? Can everyone see? Because we have one for each imagery and three for visual imagery, right? Yes. So
Yes.
thank you, Afifa. I think we are pretty running out of time because we have another activity to do. So thank you for sharing, Afifa. I appreciate your effort. So please save this
Okay.
graphic organizer
Thank
into
you,
your
teacher.
file, all right? Because it's for your future revision as well. Yeah. All right. So wait, let me share the screen for the next activity. Yeah. All right. Can you see the screen? Okay, I think you can. All right, so for the next activity, I'm gonna continue with the imagery experience, and you just have to again sit back and relax, and I'm gonna read it to you. Okay. So the continuation of the story is: cautiously, you push the fluffy, bready door handle, and the sweet scent from earlier instantly sips into your nose. Wary of the empty house, you hastily walk towards the table and gather as much pastry as you can. With no warning, the door shuts itself completely, making you leave a loud squeal. Eek. Okay. Suddenly, a shadow of a creature so huge walks down the stairs along with a frightening cackle of an old woman. You? Alright. So, I hope you didn't get so spooked by this because I'm gonna let you continue the story. For this activity, I want you to work in pairs and you have to develop a one paragraph continuation draft of this story. So in your draft, you have to include at least three different types of imagery. And yes, so and then you can use it your Google Slides like before. So I think you can start now. Yeah. It's just a short draft, okay? It's not like a complete essay, so don't worry. Okay, you have another minute, I suppose. Yeah. It's just a draft, don't worry. All right, your time is up. Can I have a pair of volunteer? Maybe they
Hi,
can share the
teacher.
screen with you. Yes, who is that?
Hazira and Afifah
Zira and
here.
Afifa. All right. So maybe you can share the slides with me or anything that you have written.
Okay. This
Ah,
is what me and Afifah have written just now.
okay.
Do I need to read them, sir?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please, please.
Okay, so the cackle of the old woman has left you breathless, stunting you from moving even an inch. The creaking of the old and rough wooden floor is starting to get louder. as the old entity make her way to you.
Mm.
At this point, the tremble of your body has caused you to drop everything that is in your hands to the floor. The purple fillings of the pies and pastries oozes out, soaking into the creases in between the floors, and all of a sudden, everything falls into silence. The deafening silence breaks your sweat and brings tears to your eyes as the rivulets of your salty liquid drips down to your cheeks.
Wow.
You are awakened by your morning alarm. You let out a relief of sigh while rubbing your wet eyes with your purple stained hands.
Wow. Have you been reading Stephen King by any chance? Because this is creeping me out, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, but good job. I can see that you've included like at least three imageries in your what do you call this draft. So there are the auditory imagery, visual imagery, and also gustatory imagery. Right. Thank you so much for sharing, Afifa
Thank you,
and
sir.
Hazira. Right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So can I share my screen back? Oh wait. Right, so I think we are running out of time. So what I want you to do is I want you to keep the draft to yourself, not to yourself, with your partner, and I want you to develop a hold on, and I want you to go back and revise and edit it into a 5 paragraph essay for your homework. You know, I won't be around in a couple of days, so I'll be seeing you next week with the homework. So you have exactly 10 days to complete them. Yeah, and I think that's about it for now. You know, are you gonna have class after this?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
teacher.
Oh, too
Yes.
bad. But
But
it's
I
okay.
want to sleep. It's raining.
Don't
Uh,
sleep.
is it raining? Okay. It's okay. You can multitask, sleep and be in class at the same time. It's okay.
Yes.
But all in all, today we learned about imagery, right? So
Yes, teacher.
as the recap, did you enjoy coming up with a continuation to the imagery experience?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, I
Yes.
can see your draft is very interesting. So keep up that work, all right? And also, will
Okay,
you
Okay.
teacher.
will you be able to use your five senses in identifying imagery now?
Every day,
Yes.
teacher, we can use
Yeah,
that.
Confidently.
yeah, confidently, yes. All right, so one question though, would it be okay if our interpretation is different from one another?
Yes.
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 Yes,
It
of
is.
course. It doesn't matter, especially if it's not distasteful or hateful to anybody, right? We all should celebrate the differences in interpretation because that is what makes you unique and one of a kind. So that is all for today's class. I'm gonna see you next week with your homework. All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
No.
You.
Thank you, teacher.
Yes, homework.
Bye.
No.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
sir.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank
you,
everyone.
you. Thank you,
teacher.
teacher.